Fans Podcast, the podcast that talks about Doctor Who and Star Wars, hosted by Lee Craddock. Welcome and hope you enjoy listening to this episode. Hello, welcome back to Fast and Jarvis and a happy Christmas to all. So for this episode, I wanted to bring a bit of Christmas cheer. So I'm going to be talking about all the Christmas specials for Doctor Who, the New Year's ones, including Spyfall, also a little Star Wars treat at the end, because I want to give love to the Star Wars community, and this thing I want to talk about is very special and has a huge touching moment. Now, it's not Christmas related, but it's still just like Christmas. Before I begin, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you can get up to date with all there is content. Next year is going to be a big group of episodes where I'm going to be mixing it up with Doctor Who and Star Wars and just showing the love. So let's begin with the first ever Doctor Who Christmas special, The Christmas Invasion. A quick disclaimer, there may be a few angry rants on certain things happening in the Christmas specials, from indecent lines to indecent actions. Quick disclaimer over, let's go. The Christmas Invasion is, of course, the first ever Christmas special Doctor Who did. This was all about Rose Tyler having to deal with the Doctor's recent regeneration and the Doctor's action. It is one of those episodes that I feel like we need to see Rose struggle a bit, and I think it's a great episode to do it. It is a bit out of the Christmas season cheer, but I still love it for what it is. It has secrets and, of course, robot Santas, which are very hilarious. I don't know why, but they've got that hilarious thing. And there's also like some proper Christmas moments. The Doctor doing his bit. Obviously, a story arc coming over into a later series. It's just got that magic, and I feel like I love it for what it is. And there's some fantastic moments. For example, that fight with the Secret Leader is still iconic. I mean, for David Tennant to come in and deliver on his first episode, what a legend. We'll be talking about the legendary Lieutenant a bit more. It's still a fantastic Christmas special. From one legend to a comedy legend. That's right, Catherine Tate. Yes. She made her debut in this episode, The Rare Bride. Once again, it's got some Christmassy feel. The Robot Soldiers are back working for this Empress of the Raptors, who I think is an absolute legend. Once again, my children! Still an iconic quote. Love it. I just enjoy it for what it is. It's comedy gold, but it's also got the emotional. And Lance Bennett being an absolute villain. Oh, gosh. That scene, I won't talk about it in this video because it's meant to be a more positive vibe. But yeah, I was like, it is kind of messed up. There's just some heroic moments from David. And yeah, I just love it. And I feel like the dawn in this is a lot different to the dinner we get later, and I think it's fair. I think because it makes in Partners in Crime work harder, and it just gives something beautiful, and I just think Russell did a great job. Plus, the start was like a Christmas start. It was so brilliant. Voyage of the Damned is the next one, and of course it stars Kylie Minogue as Astrid Peth. Once again, got the Christmas vibes. You've got angels, you've got the Titanic in space, you've got some interesting characters in there. It's a disaster story, not done in a Christmas special before, with the Earth as the nearest planet in danger. It's just spectacular, and I think it's just a great story. You've got annoying characters in there, you've got a psychotic villain, you've got beautiful companion, and you've got a group of survivors, and of course the Doctor in the middle. I think, even though there might be some divisive stuff in it, I still think it is great. And of course, The Stowaway by Yamit Mamo. It's still a classic. I listen to that a lot. It's just so beautiful. And you can catch Mary Gold on there as a musician. The next one is a personal favourite of mine. It's got magic. It's got Yuko Sam. It's Doctor Who at its best. I feel like after the finale, which I do respect because I understand what the sentiment, I just think it feels like it brought back what Doctor Who had left in the finale. It brought some closure to the results of Doomsday. I loved David Morrissey as Jackson Leigh. I think his story was beautiful. The Doctor saving a kid, and a lot of kids Dr. Elizabeth. The ending, chef's kiss. Huge respect to this episode, and Russell came back with a vengeance. The End of Time is David Tennant's last episode. It doesn't have much of Christmassy vibes as it is because it's more of a regeneration book story, but there's some good moments, for example, a happy Christmas Day morning, but I still think it's good. It's not personally up there for me. It's just a great episode, and yeah, I think this is what I'm going to say, because there's actually quite a few regeneration stories that haven't happened in Christmas episodes. This one might not have as much, but like I said, it is definitely still visible and seen, which I love. A Christmas Carol, another one that isn't a favourite of mine, but it's still probably the most Christmassy out of a lot of these episodes. It's set on Christmas Eve, it's a snowy waste planet, and a take on a traditional Christmas story. The cast are great, and Michael Gambon, Catherine Jenkins, I gotta give them huge shout-outs. The chemistry was there, and also Donny Horn and Lawrence Belcher for playing Catherine as a young person. It's got that magic, and I still respect it for that. It's time for a Christmas special that I don't think gets enough love, in my personal opinion. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. Now, I think I can understand there's a lack of threat. I just think sometimes it gets underappreciated. I just love it because it's all about dealing with, loss, but then there's hope, and both endings for the Owl and the Doctor are just so beautiful and happy. And I'm a sucker for a happy ending, and I love it, and I just love it so much. And Stephen did a great job, and and the Doctor to actually face the fact that he needs to go and see the plants, and rightly so. Yes, it was 2 years late, but it was still beautiful. And I think him being emotional at the end, it makes you wonder the fact that he doesn't get this treatment, so it's good for him. And Matt Smith is on point in this episode. Claire Skinner was great. Morris Cole, the Owl, Alexander Armstrong. It was so beautiful, and I love the Wooden Kings. And also, it's a take on The Lion, the Witch and Wardrobe, which is another story I love. Love that one so much. I recently read it a few years ago for a book challenge, which it's still on point. And I still watch the adaptations and the films and listen to the soundtrack. That saying, this episode is still one of my personal favourite Christmas specials. Jenna Coleman, who is one of my favourite companions in Doctor Who, debuts in The Snowman. Obviously, it's a take on the Snowman story, which is beautiful. If you haven't seen the animations of it, I recommend watching it. The sequel is still emotional. This story's definitely got something different. It introduces a mystery with Clara. You've also got the return of the Paternoster gang, who have been newly named. Kane Stewart, Neil McIntosh, Dan Starkey, one of my personal favourite trios out there. They deserve more screen time. I think they deserve a lot more of that. It's a good story. Yes, there is a certain scene which I won't say once again, because, yes, I think you've worked it out by now. I just think it's beautiful, and it kickstarts. The ending's got that big thing that, sets things off. Yes, it goes a bit down, but they're able to fix it. That saying, it's still definitely a great episode. I just think it's got snow, also some classic Matt Smith moments, and you can see Matt's chemistry. I mean, yes, there are some issues, Moffat. I'm still not happy with that. Thank you. You can still see how great they are. Let's move on to Matt Smith's final episode, Time of the Doctor. Now, it's not my personal favourite, and yes, there is a line, Moffat, what were you doing? I still think it's a classic, original story. I like the fact that Clara perseveres. It's beautiful. And also set on a town called Christmas. Clara having to deal with things at home, and then that whole regeneration thing, still iconic. And my boy Peter Capaldi debuted at the end. It is still a good. Is it the best? No. Has it lost a bit of magic? I think that's the thing. I will say this about regeneration. maybe try not to do generation stories at Christmas or New Year. That's my little critique, but thankfully that's solved. Not till 2022. Salvador is still a classic. And plus Sheila Reid as Clara's kind grandmother. Loved her. Last Christmas is another one of my favourites. It's all about dreams and has a happy ending where Doctor and Clara reunite in probably one of the most majestical and beautiful endings. To be fair, Moffat is quite good at this, and he has 3 consecutive ones in my personal opinion. That just shows he's on point when he delivers. We got Nick Frost as Santa Claus, Faye Marsay, who you might know, Star Wars fans, as Selvartha in Andor. There's just so many other familiar faces. Natalie Gummi, of course. Michael Tran and Maureen Beatty. It's still such a beautiful episode, and Danny Pink makes a 1-minute cameo, and I feel bad for Danny because, you know, I love Samuel's character, and I know me and Danny don't get on, but it's just nice to see him have that little cameo. Last Christmas is still beautiful. Alex Kingston returned as Riversong in Husbands of Riversong. Now, this episode is not personally my cup of tea because obviously it's not what I like to watch. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. The last 20 minutes for me are so beautiful. But the whole thing, the Christmas vibe, you know, it's got Christmas songs. It also has a very interesting plot. The last scene where the Doctor and River onto him, Peter and Nat have great chemistry in that scene. It's just so beautifully done. It's Christmassy, but it's also sad. It's definitely one of those scenes that still stands out to me right now, and it just makes me want more of them because I would have loved to see more of them two together. I still think Husbands of Riversong is definitely a classic. The Return of Doctor Who is an episode that I think has grown me. Peter and Matt Lucas are a legendary duo. I call them a comedy double act. Justin Chatwin and Charity Weaver were brilliant as well. I think the villains were okay, but because they weren't used, that does kind of make the plot a bit not as great as potentially the later Dalek stories. But Stephen did give it a good go, and I like the drilling references. I personally don't mind the superhero genre. I think it is better as well. It's time for another rant. Twice Upon a Time is good, but I still think it is, even though it's a bit lower than maybe some of the other Christmas, but it still has that heart. Moffat, that comment, no, why do I have to keep having a go at you, man? I love your era, but why do I have to keep having a go at man for making these mistakes? Rant over. But yeah, you can see the frustration there, and I do think people have got the point on it. I still think it's beautiful. Yes, some of these characters are tricking the Doctor, but it's still good. I still think Jenna Coleman should have been on set because Clara Oswald deserved way better there. They did it good, but Jenna should have been there because it would have been extra beautiful, and I love her, and I just think she deserves a lot more. I do think Victoria did rob her that chance, but it's understandable. Peter got a good ending. I don't know about... I keep changing my mind on his redemption now. Jodie Whittaker, my girl, debuts with the classic. Oh, brilliant. I just love that first scene. And let's go to her New Year specials. Resolution is the first New Year special since, of course, the end of time. Before I start, Chris Chibble, I love you, man. But when you're doing representation, don't do what you did there. You did make a few mistakes there in your era, and I know you could have done better. And I ran over. Jodie Whittaker in this episode is stunning. She steps up. I just can't stop saying how good she is. She's a talent. I just love her as not just an individual, but as the Doctor. I felt like she continues this streak of great Doctors. Also, Tony Cole delivering with his best scenes. Charlotte Ritchie having to play a character struggling to fight off a recon and win, which I really love. It's so beautiful, and Charlotte did a great job. It's still another classic, and it's my favourite New Year's Christmas special and my favourite 13th Doctor Dalek story. Spyfall isn't a New Year's special as such, but it was released on New Year's Day, so I'm going to talk about it because I just think it deserves appreciation. I think this is definitely one of my favourite openers. I think it's good. Obviously, Jodie Whittaker in a tuxedo. I can't stop going on the tuxedo. She looks fantastic in it. She looks brilliant. It's a Bond-themed story. Yes, the second half has that. BBC trouble. You could have avoided the whole situation. Once again, classic run over. I just love it. And Sacha Baron Cohen is the master. He was born to be the master. I mean, there were so many good things about it. It's just a classic story. Yes, it doesn't have that New Year's theme, but obviously this was due to be on Christmas Day. I still think this would have done well on Christmas Day as well. Yeah, I still love it. This episode, Revolution Starts, did grow. I mean, and of course there has been some controversial actors, which I won't talk about. It's good, but like, I don't know. It's good, really, but is it as powerful? I don't know. The best bits for me, obviously, were the emotional stuff, that chat with Ryan, and of course that goodbye scene. I'm still sad about it. It's probably one of the most beautiful comedic excellence I've seen on the show. I do like the fact that there is a bit of new stuff at the start. It's okay at least. Eve of the Daleks for me continued a run of strong episodes, which started with the Vanquishers, and every episode since has been 10 out of 10, and that just shows the consistency in the entire show so far, and I'm really happy with that. It's my least favourite of the whole 6 specials, but it's still great nonetheless. It's got that risk. You've got Paul Llewellyn being a legend, Aileen B, Ajay Sam being a legend, and of course Jodie Whittaker, Matt Gill and John Bishop being Tants, and the scene where Yaz comes out. It's still memorable. I still think it's a beautiful scene. I think, once again, some of the criticism, I feel like with representation, there needs to be some balance on how to do it correctly, because this is something Doctor Who has difficulty with, sadly, and that happens. It's still beautiful. And I like the foreshadowing to Legends of Cedar as well. Yes, maybe with Arjani there is a fine line, maybe a fine line being crossed up, but I still love it. The episode may have not aired yet, but honestly, the Church on Reroad could continue this run of excellence. Should we go a mini episode? Obviously, there's chemistry there. Goblins, Janice Goblin, yes, we gotta mention her. Goblin King. Also, you got Anita Dobson, and the Sundays, Michelle Grange, and Angela Winter. Plus Stephen McCall and some classic Christmas shows. It's gonna be exciting. Finally, it's the Star Wars treat I promised you at the start. I want to give a huge shout out to the Star Wars Lego Holiday Special, which was released a few years ago. This story, you got Rey having a journey, which I really love. I know me and Rey don't particularly vibe, but this is one of her best performances. It's got some classic, moments. For example, Anakin and Luke, and then you got the whole Wookiee thing on the Millennium Falcon, Lando Calrissian, plus Emperor Palpatine being a classic legend. Honestly, him in Lego is still... I just can't stop laughing at the guy. He's a legend. And yes, he's evil, but he's big evil. And that's it at the end. Yes, we won't talk about it, but... What? Palpatine? Really? I just think it's a beautiful episode, and I recommend watching it because it's so much joyous, and it shows what Life Day is all about. What is your favourite Doctor Who seasonal episode? You can comment down below, or at Fast122 on my social media. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. In my next episode, I will be finishing off 2023 as I look at the shows from this year. It's Doctor Who, The Mandalorian, The Bad Batch, and Ahsoka. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to Phasma and Jarrans. Please get in touch at Fast122 on social media. If you love anything I do, please subscribe to the Phasma and Jarrans YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Subscribe to Phasma and Jarrans and stay tuned for more podcasts. See ya!